Hello guys, and welcome to this new video in the game engine series. Hope you guys are enjoying and hope you guys are doing good. So in this video I'm gonna be giving you some new update about what I've been working on, because I've changed a lot in this. So I decided a couple of days ago to refine the whole code of this engine and make things better, because I had some stuff in the code that was not perfect, and I thought to myself maybe I could somehow start something and make them look better, and that was what I've been working on. So in this video I'm going to be giving you a quick update about what I've changed. I can't cover all that in this video, so I'm going to be uploading more videos about this to let you know what is going on. And if you're watching this for the first time, so we're building a game engine in C++ using the SDL library. The source code is provided in the link in the description for my Patreon. So if you want to get access to that, you have to be Patreon. So I want to be transparent with you. But if you get your Patreon access, you will be able to download the source code and also impact the content I'm uploading. But before we get started, I also want to invite you guys to subscribe to my channel and like this video and leave a comment if you have any question or concern. I'll kind of take time to answer that. So as you can see right here, I have this this platform I built right here. It's a huge platform. I can keep running from the start till the end. It takes 2 minutes or 1 minute, something like that. I don't know, but it's really huge. And I'm actually working on building a real platform with that, where I can really interact with enemies and things. So you can see. So that's exactly what I'm gonna be working on in these days. Just want to let you see now. If you've been watching along, I didn't have a shooter as a player. Now I added a shooter. You see he's able to shoot, and I have all kind of shoot animation. You can imagine he can shoot up, he can crouch shoot, he can jump shoot, and all that is added to our game engine, and we almost have everything we want to have, and that's really nice. So now let's see what kind of update we have in this game engine. So I'm gonna be closing this. So because as I said, there is a lot I want to talk about, so I'm definitely gonna be starting up front and let you know what is going on. So I'm gonna be starting with the animation. So considering the fact that I really like to give the right name to my classes and variable, I thought giving the name to this class, to this sequence animation, as frame animation will be better, because frame animation is, I think that's my opinion, that's better as sequence animation. So what have I changed here? Not that much that you cannot catch. So we still have all basics component that we had before, and yeah, the rest is just the same. So I haven't changed anything here. But now I'm planning to add a new setting to this animation, so that I'll be able to pass the fact that an animation could be repeated or not. Because for example, when the player is dying, you don't want to repeat the animation of the player dying every time. You want to do it once and then that's it. So I want to add that into my animation and be able to kind of pass that while creating the animation of my player or enemy or something like that. So that's just a few points I wanted to mention. So there is not a lot I've changed in this animation, and yeah, but I kind of refined some stuff, but nothing hasn't changed. So that's the most important thing. About the camera, I added some new method to the camera, because if you remember, it's important for us to kind of catch the position of the camera to be able to draw things on the screen, because things are drawn relative to the camera, because you want to know how things are gonna scroll on the screen and all that kind of stuff. And in our texture manager, we had the get camera position that we use to get the vector, the current position of the camera, and then we could use that position to calculate the target position of the object that we want to draw on the screen. But I made that different by creating this method right here, which I called Synchronized object. So this method actually takes the transform. It's access only, so it does not take a pointer. It's a transform, just a simple variable. Then it kind of take that value and calculate the vector, the target position of that object, instead of every time calling the get position of the camera. I think it's more efficient to do it this way. Then I could use this transform, because inside the transform, inside of our transform, we already have the scroll ratio, and we can simply access that scroll ratio and calculate the position of the object according to the camera. That's the reason why if I go to my texture manager right here, you can see I'm also going to be talking about this, because I changed also some couple of things here to make it more robust. And you can see I simply have this camera instance synchronized object. Then I simply give, this is for the sprite, I talked about that later, open this one. Then I simply give the transform, and then you see I can get the target position inside of the camera according to the camera, and then I can simply draw it. That was important for me. That's why I thought I should do it this way. So that was this method right here. But the rest is just some naming convention that I've changed. So nothing new. There's nothing special about that. The rest is just the same. Yeah. So in the collision, I haven't changed anything yet. So the engine thing, there's nothing that I've changed, just the name. So instead of viewport, I changed it to screen size, because I thought it might be better. And in the object factory, I haven't changed anything. The object factory is still the same, and there's nothing new in that. And if I move to the input, there's nothing that I've changed there. Just this thing that I add right here, the direction for the keyboard. So I have this get dir key, so get direction key. This is because we had this function before, get axis key, so I didn't want to call that with that name, because the axis is for the joystick actually, but we don't have joystick right now. So I decided to change this, and I defined this enum right here to define what kind of direction we're taking. Which button are we pushing? Are we pushing the forward button, the backward, or the up, down, and so go on. So, and yeah, I think that's just what we have right here. Now I have something really brand new right here. We have this level manager right here, which is important. So when you build a game, it's really important for you to kind of build a level manager, because I'm gonna be having a lot of levels, and I want to be able to change from a level to another one without having to write any line of code. So the idea is to create some XML file with all information about a level. So information like, for example, you know, the sounds, with what kind of sound are we using in that level, the textures, and the map, and all that kind of stuff. And these are objects. So it's just something like that where we can actually put all information. And I'm going to be creating a parser that I will call, I'll simply call the parser and pass the name of the file, and then I'll be able to parse all this information with that parser engine and simply start playing on that level. Now about this level manager, the idea is, because I'm gonna be doing a lot of stuff using some components, so I want to be able to access things like, for example, the tile map on the current level. I want to access the player to know something about him, you know. That's why it's important for me to have something like that. And the level manager is pretty straightforward. We have some init function, which is the function where we can pass all our maps and object and all that kind of stuff. We also have a clean, where we want to clean the texture manager and clean the sound system, remove all kind of sounds, because we don't want to keep that in a memory and keep, you know, making the memory occupied with things that we're not using. And the render and update are straightforward. So we also have things like set tile map, set wither. So if you remember, we had the particle system. I actually can put it here to let you see, so I could simply go ahead and so level header, and I'm gonna say what was it, render particles. Yeah, and then I'll simply also go in the update function. I also want to kind of update the particle also. Update. Hope I haven't forgotten anything. What have I added there at the time? So we have it like this, and yeah, you can see we have the dust particle just like that. Kind of give some sense of life to our scene. And yeah, the idea is to create all these things in our level manager, in our level, so that we can actually play around with that. I can decide at any point of time to change the weather, to make it rain or to make it snow or something like that. It's really important to have things like that. So that's the idea. So that's the level manager. There's nothing special about it. I haven't added that much right now, and yeah, just want to let you know so that when you get the code, you know where to find what. That's important. Now in the game object, I also add some stuff that I find really important. First of all, I have this object category right here, which is really important because I want to be able later to check the collision between, for example, the player and the platform, the player and the enemy. And since we're not using entity component system, I kind of want to create like a reference to all kind of object to know, okay, this object is from this category. So if I want to check the collision with the enemies, I'm simply going to check the category of the current object and then check if the category is enemy, and then I can check the collision with the player. This is really important because I don't want to check for all kind of object before getting to the object that is an enemy, because if you have thousands objects in your scene, it's gonna be a lot to check for all those objects. So what you can simply do is you say, if the current object is not of the type enemy, you can simply continue the loop and just jump over that object and go to the next one. And that's why I need something like this, because I want to make sure I don't use computer resource too much. That's the idea. So that's why I have this get category method right here, which is straightforward. And I also make it so that when I create an object with a texture ID, I can simply process, I can simply go ahead and query the texture and get the size and set the transform size directly with that. And I also make sure I scale the size according to the scale that was given to the transform, because I had this problem with the box collider, that because I wasn't kind of I wasn't taking care of managing the scale of the object, so I was having some trouble with that. So it's really important to make sure you scale the size before you do anything with the object. So that's why we do this. And I also do the same thing in the transform, where the transform, this is platform, this is something I'm working on actually, transform. And here also when I initialize the transform, so I also want to make sure that we have something like this, because yeah, I don't want to be calling that every time, whenever I want to process with the width. I don't want to be multiplying it with the scale every time. So that's why I make sure I do it right in the beginning. That's the idea. So am I forgetting something? I think that's all for this video right now. I don't want to make it too long, just wanted to give you a quick update about what I've been working on. And as I said, the source code is in the description below. You guys can go and check that out, and if you have any question or concern, if anything doesn't fetch, if you have any kind of problem, you can still write me in the comment section below or contact me via Patreon. You have my access, so since some of you are Patreon. So thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Ciao.